Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. We will be starting the 4th chapter today. In fact, it is our 185th class. That means this class is going on for, I think, nearly 4 years now. And it will go on for another maybe couple of years. The 4th chapter is also a part of the Muni Kanda. The Brhadaranyaka Upanishad itself can be divided into 3. The first 2 chapters are called Madhukanda. The next 2 are called Muni Kanda. Then 5th and 6th are called Khila Kanda. The main Vedantic teachings are there in the first 4 chapters. Khila Kanda mainly is Upasana Param. Here in the Muni Kanda, why is it called Muni Kanda? Because Yajnavalkya is the main Acharya here. Yajnavalkya is the teacher. In fact, in the previous chapter, 3rd chapter, we saw that Yajnavalkya had debates with the different Brahmanas. He answered all their questions because he had already claimed the 1,000 cows which were offered as a present by Janaka. Okay. Then others took offense to that and said, do you think you are the best? Now you have to answer all our questions. And then he did answer all of them. And finally, in the 9th Brahmana end, which is called Shakalya Brahmana, Yajnavalkya asks about the Upanishadam Purusha to Shakalya. He doesn't know the answer for that. In fact, his head falls off then. Because if you do not know the answer, your head will fall off, like that he says. And then after that, again, Yajnavalkya asks the assembled Brahmanas, he gives them an option. He says, either any of you can ask me further questions, or I will ask you questions and you answer that. None of them opened their mouth. And then he did ask a question about the Mula, correct? About the root cause of this Srishti. For that, he even talked about the similarities between a human being and a tree. That was the last portion we saw. Then even his question, nobody was able to answer. Then he took away the cows and went away. So in the previous chapter, whatever debate or question answers which happened between Yajnavalkya and the different Brahmanas, they are all, we call them as Jalpa. So in Jalpa, you don't have to tell your answer or your paksha. Okay. Basically, it is a type of discussion. In our tradition, we do differentiate between different types of discussions. The discussion between a guru and shishya is called samvada, because there the main aim of the discussion is to find out the truth. And also the shishya approaches the guru with a certain attitude that even if I do not understand initially, I will understand going forward. I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the guru. That's how the shishya's attitude is like that. And therefore, a certain learning also takes place. The other kind of arguments and discussions are all different, correct? They are all between equals or even opponents and all that. So Jalpa, Vitanda, like this, we have different types. Each is also defined in our tradition. So the previous one is Jalpa. Now in this chapter, actually, it is actually a Guru Sishya Samvada. Samvada or Vada, we say. Vada is a healthy discussion where both the people are interested in finding out the truth. So in this Samvada, the Guru is again Yajnavalkya. The Sishya is Janaka, mostly in this chapter. So this Chaturtha Adhyaya also is part of the Muni Kanda, because both third and fourth chapter, the main person is Yajnavalkya, who is considered as a Muni. That's why we call this as Muni Kanda. And in this fourth chapter, the first Brahmana, a Brahmana can be called as a section within the chapter. The first Brahmana is again only Upasana Param. Brahman is looked upon as different devatas, or the different devatas are looked upon as Brahman, I have to say, not the other way around. So, devatas like Vak and Aditya, Prana, then the Dig devatas, like this different, there are 6 devatas are there. These devatas, you do upasana of them as Brahman, and then there is a certain phala for that also, which is given by Yajnavalkya. So this Brahmanam is about upasana again. From the next Brahmanam onwards, the Vedantic teachings start. So there are 4 more Brahmanams. Then the last Brahmanam, the 6th Brahmanam, is only a list of Guru Sishyas. The Guru Parampara is given again. In fact, if you recall, at the end of the 2nd chapter also, we had a list of Guru Sishya Parampara, correct? It's that entire Brahmanam is nothing but a list only. Similarly, here also the 6th Brahmanam is only a list of Gurus and Sishyas. So these 6 Brahmanams are there in this chapter. And again, this chapter is a very important chapter with reference to the teaching. We'll see that as we go forward. So let us see how Bhashyakara is giving the introduction. In fact, this chapter starts with Janakaha Havaha Vaidehaha Asan Chakre. Like this, it starts here. Om, and then Janako Ha Vaideha Asan Chakre. So Bhashyakara just quotes that, and then then he says Asya Sambandhaha. So what is the connection of this particular Brahmana with whatever has gone before, correct? So he is trying to explain that in that he is actually giving a summary of the previous chapter. So in the previous chapter, what all, in fact, particularly the last Brahmana of the previous chapter, what was given, correct? He starts from there. He says, Shariradyan Ashtau Purushan Niruhya. So Shariradyan means starting with Sharira onwards. The Purushas themselves have Sharira. And then we saw that different things about them were talked about. Like that 8 Purushas. Each Purusha has a Sharira, a Manas, etc. Like that. Okay. Or a Jyotis, it is called actually. So this Upasana was there. Ashtavidha Purusha Upasana. So all the Purushas are nothing but they are all manifestation of the Hiranyagarbha only. So overall it is Hiranyagarbha Upasana. Hiranyagarbha, who is the total, looked upon as 8 different manifestations, which again is supposed to cover the entire universe. So the idea here is all these Purushas are created or projected by Brahman alone. Okay, the Brahman, which having created or projected all this Ashtavidha Purusha, and also what later on it is also withdrawn into itself only, into the Hridaya. It was said the Hridaya here means intellect. Buddhi, Mano Buddhi only is called as Hridaya. So all of them, they are having withdrawn them back into the Hridaya. Means why Hridaya is important is Brahman is available there only. Brahman has to be known only in your Manas, in your Buddhi. But that Buddhi has to be samskar, it has to be well prepared buddhi, okay, well prepared manas. So Shastra, Acharya, Upadesha, Samskara has to be there, and even before that, Karma Yoga and Upasana and all one should have done, and one should have a certain Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Naishchalyam. All these things have to be there. Such a mind is where Brahman is available. So this entire, all 8 Purushas, again, they are shown to be only in the Hridaya, means they are withdrawn into Hridaya, whatever was projected. Then again, Digbhedena cha punaha panchada vyuhya. So the Panchavidha Upasana also we saw later on in the last Brahmana. Again, different Devatas, and about them different details were given. So this also was again withdrawn back into the Hridaya. So all these things are shown only to show that this entire Srishti, their Pratishtha is there only in your Hridaya, in your Mano Buddhi. Everything you have to know only through your mind and intellect. So they all have to go through that, and that is where they are. And finally, what Hridayam or Mano and Buddhi cannot operate by themselves. Correct? It requires a physical body. And physical body also cannot operate by itself unless the Sukshma Sharira is there. Physical body also cannot operate itself. It will become dead body then. Correct? It will start decomposing. So they are mutually dependent. The physical body and the Hridaya or the Mano Buddhi are mutually dependent. This was also shown in that Brahmana. So Hridayam Sharirancha Punaha Anyonya Pratishtham. So Anyonya Pratishtham means what? They are mutually, they are depending on each other. They are established in each other. That was shown. And then finally what? All these things are themselves in the 5 Pancha Pranas again are very important. Pranadi Pancha Vrityatmake Samanakye Jagadatmani Sutra Upasamhritya. So this was also shown. This body and mind, again, they are there in the pranas, Pancha Prana. Them, that Pancha Prana themselves are called Samana. They are known as Samana. A name is given. And then that alone is there in the form of this entire world, in fact. Okay, Jagadatmani. In that what? Sutre, the Sutratma, the totality of all this physical and subtle world. Into that all these things are resolved. Okay, whatever, either it is Ashtavidha Purusha, Panchavidha, the Dik-based Devatas, your own body, mind, everything, they are all resolved, and the Pancha Pranas, they are all resolved into the Sutratma, who is the totality. And that Sutratma also is what? Is not independent. Sutratma, for the Sutratma, the very existence is given by this Brahman alone. That's what is shown then finally. So Jagadatmanam Sharira Hridaya Sutra Avastham Atikrantavan. So Brahman itself is the one who transcends this, the one who has taken the form of this entire Jagat, in whom only this Sharira, Hridaya, Sutra, everything is there. In Brahman only they are all there, but Brahman itself transcends all of them. Means Brahman is not touched by the guna or doshas of any of these things. Brahman by itself is asangaha, is not touched by anything, not connected to anything. So you can see here, this Brahman was then shown. And how the Brahman was shown? Because Yajnavalkya asks Shakalya, Upanishadaha, Upanishadam Purusham. Like that he asked him, do you know the Purusha who is revealed by the Upanishads? In fact, who is revealed as Neti Neti, Neti Neti iti Vyapadishtaha. So the one who was taught or revealed by the Vakya, Neti Neti, that also we saw already. In the second chapter only, the Neti Neti came. And again, having revealed this Brahman like this as one who is transcending everything and one who is not an object of cognition, correct? Brahman is not something you know as an object. Means basically you negate everything which you know as an object. Means what is left out is only the cognizer. The cognizing consciousness alone is Brahman. That's how it is shown, because the consciousness itself cannot be objectified. That's why it has to be taught like this. Brahman has to be revealed by negating all objects and then shown as the Swarupa of the very negator. And that Brahman, who is the one who gives the existence to everything here, that Brahman was again shown as Sa Sakshatcha Upadana Karana Swarupena Cha Nirdishtaha. That Brahman alone, again, because Yajnavalkya asked the question, correct, what is the Mula of this entire Srishti? And then the Brahmanas, they were not able to answer that. In fact, Yajnavalkya also did not answer that. He just took the cows and went away. Once they are not able to answer, it becomes obvious that he is the best amongst the Brahmanas there, and he has the right to take away all the cows which were offered by Janaka. Nobody objected also. Then the Shruti only comes. Shruti comes and answers his question and says that the Jagat Moolam, the Upadana Karanam. Upadana also here we have to understand it is Vivarta Upadana, as we say. Vivarta means what? Without giving up its nature only, it appears as different names and forms. Swarupa Aparityagena Rupantara Apattihi, we say. Like even a gold takes the form of different jewelry, correct? Whether it is a chain or whether it is earring, whether it is a bangle, it can take any form, but gold still remains gold only. Gold does not lose its nature while becoming a particular name and form. Like that only Brahman has become this world as the Upadana Karanam. And that Brahman was revealed with the word, with the words what? Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. That's what we saw finally. So the Shruti only reveals Brahman as the Upadana Karanam, and the very nature of this Brahman is what? Vijnanam Anandam. Now this has been taught. Up to this is the summary of the previous chapter. Now he is connecting with whatever is going to come. What is that? Tasyaiva Vagadi Devata Dwarena Punaha Adhigamaha Kartavyaha iti. So now this new Brahmana is started only to teach that same Brahman, but through different Devatas, like Vag Devata or Aditya Devata, Prana Devata, all these different Devatas. The same Brahman has to be again taught through these Devatas, and therefore what this is now started. Okay, Adhigamana Upayantararthaha Ayam Arabbaha Brahmana Dvayasya. So they to teach through a different method now. Okay, the same Brahman is to be now taught through a different method. Therefore, this Brahmana is started. The next two Brahmanas, it is said Brahmana Dvayasya. And in this there is a story also, because Yajnavalkya goes to Janaka and Janaka asks him, have you come here for more cows, or you have come here to answer some of my questions? Then Yajnavalkya says both. Okay, he doesn't want to give up the cows yet, at least. So like this there is a story. Why this story is given? So Bhashyakara says Akhyayikatu Achara Pradarshanartha. It is to show the how one has to behave towards one's guru, so that the story is there for that only. And what do we learn? Janaka actually treats Yajnavalkya with a lot of respect. Even though he is the king, he respects Yajnavalkya, and without that attitude, one cannot learn. So only one who has respect towards one's guru, for that person only the guru also can teach. In fact, in Gita also Bhagavan says that, correct? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha, like that. Tadvidhi, tad brahma vidhi. Learn, know this Brahman. How? Tadvidhi pranipatena, by surrendering to your guru, pariprashnena, questioning, having healthy discussions, and also sevaya, you have to do seva to the guru. Now all these things show a certain attitude. This attitude is very important for learning. So those are all the things which are shown through the story, he says, whatever story which is going to come. Now let us see the first vakya here. Om Janakaha Havai Dehaha Asan Chakre. So Janaka is sitting. Asan Chakre means basically sitting here means the king is sitting in his court and he is giving audience to whoever wants to come and meet him, because people do have so many issues, correct? They all bring those issues to the king. Of course, only those which they are not able to solve at other levels. So Janaka is now giving audience and he is in his court. And then what happened? Ataha Yajnavalkya Avavraja. So Yajnavalkya came at that time. Okay. So after Janaka was sitting and giving audience, thereafter Yajnavalkya comes there. And why does he come? Because he wants to meet the Raja, correct? And again, why does he want to meet the Raja? Means in those days, Brahmanas only went to the Rajas. They were the supporters. Brahmanas themselves, they can only do certain, they have their own Brahma karma, correct? Yajanam, Yajanam, Patanam, Patanam. Like this, 6 different karmas are given to the Brahmanas. They are supposed to do only those things. And Danam, Dapanam, we say. Yajanam, Yajanam, Patanam, Patanam, Danam, Dapanam means what? You can do yajna, you can worship, and you can also do yajna on behalf of others. Then you study yourself, you teach others. Then you give danam, you make others give danam. Like this. These are all Brahmana karma, but for doing all these things, they require support. And even the kings also, they had this sense that it is their duty to protect the Brahmanas and the cows. In fact, I am not talking about very old kings. In fact, our Gurukulam is there near Kaldai Kurti here. Interesting thing is this used to come under something called Singambatti Jameen. Singampatti is the place where even now there is a palace there. And that Raja was there. He was very old, in fact, when I met him. When we had our Kumbhabhishekam, I went and met this Raja. He was there from before independence only. He was recognized as a Raja by Britishers. And then later on he continued. He lived for a long time. He was quite old when I met him. But he did talk to me for a long time. And since I am a Brahmana, he was very respectful towards me. And he even told me that it is their dharma, it is their duty to protect Brahmanas and cows. And what all he did as a Raja, etc., he was telling me. It was very interesting. So this kind of an attitude, it's not just in the Veda or Purana or Itihasa only. That kind of an attitude was there with all our kings, actually. So they supported the Brahmanas. Without their support, of course, Brahmanas also cannot do whatever they are supposed to do. So Yajnavalkya went there for that purpose. And then Tamho Vacha Yajnavalkya Kimartham Acharihi. So then Tamho Vacha means what? Tam Yajnavalkyam. So hey Yajnavalkya, why did you come? For what purpose? In fact, Bhashyakara here will say that in between that, he did not straight away ask. If such a person, very accomplished Brahmana comes, first you have to do some puja and all that. You have to honor that person and then only you ask him what he wants. So he did all that. Whatever is to be done, how the respect has to be shown, it was shown. And then he asked him, why did you come here? In fact, he himself says that Pashun Ichan Anuantan iti. So he asks him, why did you come here? Desiring Pashu again? Or Anuantan means Sukshma Vastu Nirnayantan, like this Bhashyakara says. So to, again, with reference to Sukshma Vastu, are you ready to listen to some of my questions? So, desiring that did you come? Then Yajnavalkya says both. Ubhayameva samraditi hovacha. Hey Samrat. So Yajnavalkya is addressing Janaka as Samrat. And again the word Samrat, for that Bhashyakara gives very interesting meanings. We'll see that. So Janaka is addressed as Samrat. Everybody cannot be addressed as Samrat. To be a Samrat, you require certain qualifications. That also is said by Bhashyakara. So we'll quickly see the Bhashya here. Janakaha ha Vaidehaha Asan Chakre. Asan Chakre means Asanam Kritavan, means he is sitting. This literally he is sitting means basically he is giving audience to all the people in his court. So Asthayikam Dattavan ityarthaha. So that is the meaning of Asthayikam Dattavan, means he is giving audience to whoever comes in his court and whoever wants to meet him. That is Darshana Kamebhyaha Rajnyaha. So Rajnyaha, anybody who is desirous of meeting the Raja, for them he is giving audience. That's why he is sitting there in his court. And then what? Ataha tasmin avasare. So thereafter at that time, okay, Yajnavalkya avavraja. So Yajnavalkya came. Avavraja means agatavan. Yajnavalkya came there. Why did Yajnavalkya come? Atmanaha yogakshemartham. Like this Bhashyakara says. For one's own yoga and kshema. Now the yogakshema word, here yoga means not your hatha yoga or anything. Okay. Apraptasya praptihi is called yoga. Okay, the word yoga has a meaning of gaining something which you do not have already. That is called yoga. Then kshema means what? Praptasya rakshanam is called kshema. Whatever you have also, see, that's what everybody is doing, correct? Everybody wants to earn. And whatever you have earned, you don't want to lose it, correct? You want to grow it further, in fact. You want to invest, you want to get interest, whatever, or return on your investment. You want to grow it. That is all kshema. So yoga is earning new capital. Kshema is retaining the capital and multiplying it. So yoga kshema artham. So he wanted to get something from Janaka, and also in the process he wanted to keep whatever he already had also. For that also he may require some support maybe. So yoga kshema artham. So he came for yoga and kshema. In fact, this yoga kshema word is there in the LIC slogan, correct? Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. And that yoga kshemam vahamyaham itself is not something original. It is Bhagavad Gita. So ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Like that, Bhagavan gives the assurance. LIC, whether LIC gives assurance or not, Bhagavan gives. Bhagavan says that I will take care of the yoga and kshema of those who are my devotees, who do not look upon me as something different from themselves, correct? Ananyas chintayantoma. Okay. So those who are always, and those who also look upon me as non-different from themselves, those bhaktas, I take care of their yoga and kshema. That's what Bhagavan says. So the yoga kshema word comes in the Bhagavad Gita also. So Atmanaha Yogakshemartham or Rajnyaha va Vividisham Drishtva Anugrahartham. Also what? Janaka is a very, very cultured person. Even though he is a king, he is also a mumukshu. He is a jijnasu. So he wants to learn. Vividisha means he has the desire to learn. Janaka had a desire to learn, and therefore any guru is very happy to teach, in fact. Only that the right students have to come. If the right student is not there, then guru is still happy. Guru doesn't care, correct? If a student is there, teach. Otherwise, also you are happy. You are as you are. So like that, here Yajnavalkya has come to Janaka because he thinks Janaka is one who wants to know and who is qualified to know also. He is a qualified student and therefore he wants to do the anugraha by teaching. So Vividisham, Rajnaha Vividisham Drishtva, having seen the desire to know of Janaka, of the king, he wants to do anugraham to him. Anugraha means he wants to bless him by teaching. So for this, both these purposes, he could have come there. Then what? Tam agatam yajnavalkyam yathavat pujam kritva uvacha. Okay, so now this Bhashyakara supplies in between. Because the Upanishad directly says tamho vacha yajnavalkya, like that. But Bhashyakara says, no, once Yajnavalkya comes, then as per the customs and as per the Shastra, yathavat pujam kritva, having worshipped him, honored him, then only he asks him. Okay, uvacha ha uktavan Janaka. Janaka says what? Hey Yajnavalkya, kimartham acharihi agataha asi. So for what purpose have you come? Then he himself further asks, kim pashun ichan punaha api. Again, do you want more cows? Because in the previous chapter we saw that already Yajnavalkya took away a lot of cows and even gold also. But do you want more? Because to run a big Gurukulam, again you require wealth also. And where will the Brahmana go? Brahmana goes to the king only. King supported the education. Nowadays also, most universities also run on alumni donation and government grants and things like that, correct? So, he asked, do you want more cows? Means here wealth. Pashu here, you have to substitute for wealth. Pashun ichan punaha api ahosvit. Otherwise, what? Anvantan. Anvantan means what Bhashyakara says? Sukshmantan. Sukshma vastu nirnayantan, he says. So anu means sukshma, that which is subtle. Anu is literally atom, correct? So, and it is not visible to your eyes. Even according to Nayayikas, the Paramanus are not visible. The two Paramanus become Dvanuk, then 3 Dvanuks become Trenuk, and Trenuk onwards only it is visible, like that they have a theory. So, this particular thing, Anvantan here means to discuss and understand about subtle things. So do you have any interest in listening to questions from me about all these subtle topics? So Sukshma Vastu Nirnayantan Prashnan, questions with reference to the subtle subject matter. Mattaha, my question, Shrotum Ichan. So desiring to hear my questions regarding subtle subject matter, have you come? He is asking like that. Then what does Yajnavalkya say? He says, Ubhayameva Pashun Prashnanscha. Both Pashu I require, wealth also I require. I am interested to listen to your questions. And he says, Hey Samrat. Now Bhashyakara gives the meaning. Samraditi Vajapeya Yajinaha Lingam. So only one, the king who has done a Vajapeya Yajna is called Samrat, Bhashyakara says. So Vajapeya Yajinaha Lingam. So the king has to be a Vajapeyi. In fact, we even had a prime minister called Vajapeyi. That means somebody in his I don't think Vajapeyi himself didn't do any Vajapeya Yaga. I know him. He was not a very, he's only by name Brahmana, I think. He didn't have any Brahmana Lakshana as far as I know. But his ancestors must have done that. So he is carrying that name. Nowadays, in fact, so many people carry all these names without even knowing why that name is there, correct? There was a movie called Shankara, which is a very famous movie. Even when we were growing up, all the songs and all we used to listen. Now the main person, he became a great star, correct, after that movie, called Somayajulu. But Somayajulu is only a name. In the movie, he was Shankara Shastri and he was a very strict Brahmana and all that. But in real life, he was totally something else. And I don't think he even knew the meaning of Somayajulu. Means those his ancestors must have done Somayaga. Only those who have done Somayaga are called Somayaji. Those who have done Vajapeya Yaga are called Vajapeyi. Like that, these names are all there. So here Bhashyakara says, to address somebody as Samrat, they must have done Vajapeya Yajna, or what? Yascha Agnyaya Rajyam Prashasti. Also the one who is ruling a vast kingdom and under whom many vassals are there, correct? And they are all ruling based on the under this particular king. So that is also another meaning. That is also, then only is a Samrat. Just somebody is ruling one small kingdom, he is not a Samrat. Samrat means under this Samrat there is a very big kingdom. Under the kingdom only there are other kingdoms which are ruled by his vassals. And that person is a Samrat. And Tasya Amantranam He Samraditi. So then he is called as Samrat. Or another meaning also Bhashyakara gives here. This again shows our country was always one, correct? He says, Samastasya va Bharatasya Varshasya Raja. So the one who is the king of the entire Bharata Varsha, he is Samrat really. That means the entire Bharata Varsha, many kingdoms are there, correct? But this is the person whose Ajna is there, whose rule, under his rule only the entire Bharata Varsha is there. And in fact, for this Bharata Varsha, if you see, Anandagiri also gives a meaning for that. He says, Bharatasya Varshasya. What do you understand by Bharata Varsha? He says, Himavat Setu Paryantasya Deshasya iti. Starting from Himalaya up to Ramasetu is Bharata Varsha. So don't think that some people nowadays say India was created by British and all that. It is all nonsense. Bharata was always looked upon as a nation. Okay, even though many kingdoms were there, in our history, there are many big Samrats who have ruled the entire Bharata Varsha also. Starting from Himalaya up to the Ramasetu is all Bharata Varsha only. In fact, this definition is there in Vishnu Purana also. There is a particular reference which I don't remember now, but it is there. So the idea of Bharata being one nation is not something new. That also we have to know. In fact, Bhashyakara's reference to this, I only saw when I read this Bhashya. I didn't know that he referred to Bharata Varsha before. And Anandagiri also then gives an explanation what is this Bharata Varsha, correct? Very interesting. Continuing. Okay. Now we have this. Okay, now after having said I am interested in both, then Yajnavalkya asked Janaka. Okay. In fact, this Brahmana, first Brahmana in the 4th chapter is called Shadacharya Brahmana. Shadacharya means what? 6 acharyas. That is because Yajnavalkya here asks, okay, now tell me what you know already. You would have learned from different people because you are a very cultured and educated person and you are interested in knowing and you respect knowledge and knowledgeable people. Therefore, you must have learned from many knowledgeable people. So let me first know what you know. Then I will teach you further, whatever is to be known, whatever is incomplete, whatever is, again, you should know, but you have not been taught yet. All these things I will complete. That is the idea. So he asks here, Yatte Kaschid Abravit Tat Shrinavama iti Abravit. Okay, so Yatte, whatever is taught to you by somebody, Kaschid Abravit. So whatever has been told to you by somebody means here somebody is your Acharya. Okay, other Acharyas. First you tell me about that. Shrinavama iti. So this is what Yajnavalkya says. Then what? Abravit. Then Janaka says what? Me jitva. Excuse me. Me jitva shailinihi. So Jitva is the name of the Acharya here. Jitwan is the Pratipadika. Jitva is Prathama Ekavachanam. Shailini means again one who has come from the one who is the son of Shilinaha. Shilinasya apatyam is Shailini. The Tadita Pratyaya. Okay. What did Shailini teach him? Vagvai Brahmeti. Vag Devata is Brahma. That's what Shailini taught Janaka. So he says that Shailini taught me that Vag Devata is Brahma and Vag Devata is Agni. Correct? Agni is the Vag Devata. And my Guruji used to always say this. He used to say that Agni can give both heat and light. Correct? And in fact, Vak also can be like that. Your words can either produce heat in somebody else. That means you have made them angry, you have made them agitated and all that, or it can enlighten them. So my Guruji used to always say that your word should be giving light and not heat to others. Like that, this Vag Devata is Agni, which is very appropriate, correct? So Vag vai Brahmeti, Vag is Brahman, Vag is indeed Brahman. And also here, then having heard this name Jitva and Shailini, Yajnavalkya says one very interesting thing here. Okay, Yajnavalkya then says, he says that yes, whatever you have learned from this Acharya is correct, proper, it is valid, because the Acharya also he validates him. Why? And for that he gives a reason, which is very important, I think. So Yajnavalkya now says, Yatha matruman pitruman acharyavan bruyat tatha tat shailinihi abravit vagvai brahmeti. So whatever Shailini has said is like the one who has a mother, father and acharya, he says. Matruman means one who has a mother. Now, and again, mother is very important because mother only is the first teacher for any child. Okay. And whatever you can learn from your mother, you can learn only from your mother. Understand that. So mother is the first teacher and one should have had mother. Similarly, Pitruman, then father also is a teacher to you. Father also teaches you. And whatever you learn from your father, you can learn only from your father again. So Mata and Pita are the first teachers for you. And one should have both. Then only you will have a proper childhood. If the childhood is not proper, if Mata or Pita is missing, then that person emotionally does not grow properly. So both father and mother are important. And in fact, they are important for the growth of the child. For the child to know also initially, everything is taught by them. And then what? Either from 8 to 12, up to 8 years in those days, children were at home only. They didn't go anywhere, or even up to 12 years in some other cases. So they were all homeschooled, you can say, up to a certain age. Then after the Yajnopavita, Upanayana, only one goes to the Gurukula. So my Guruji again always used to say that teenage is the most difficult time, correct, for parents to handle their kids. At that time, you have to delegate that job to the Guru. So during teenage, one has to go and live with the Guru and learn from there. Even though your father may be a great Guru himself, generally children were sent away to another Gurukulam. That was the tradition. And one has to learn from the Guru also. So all these three things are important for the complete growth of a person. Both emotional growth and intellectual growth will be there only if you are a Matruman, Pitruman and Acharyavan. Otherwise, that person is somewhat lacking. So here Yajnavalkya says this Jitwan or Shailini is a Matruman, Pitruman and Acharyavan, and he has taught you accordingly only. So whatever he has taught you is valid, it is proper, and so he says that. So tat shailinihi abravit. That's what Shailini has taught you. Similar to whoever had all these three things, they will teach you. And therefore, that is proper. Okay. So the one who has had all these three people in his life and one who has learnt properly only has taught you. That is the idea here. And whatever such a person says is a pramana. You can take it as valid knowledge. That is also the idea here. So he is validating that, Yajnavalkya. Then further, what does he say? So this person has said that Vagvai, again he says that Vagvai Brahma iti avadatte. So he told that Vag is Brahman. Fine. And also further, why? Further he says that why Vag is Brahman? Because for a person who does not have this Vag or the ability to speak, he says there is nothing here. Nothing here, nothing hereafter also. So he says that avadataha hi kim syat. What is there for a person who cannot speak? So if the organ of speech is not working, one who is a dumb person, for that person there is nothing here. So the Vag Indriya is very important, because without Vag Indriya you cannot chant any mantra, you cannot do any karma also. So that is a very important Indriya. So avadataha hi kim syat iti abravi. That also was said. Then after this, what happens? Again, Yajnavalkya is asking that, he says, tu te kintu. Okay, further, te means tubhyam, you, for you. This Shailini taught you that Vagvai Brahma, that is fine. But did he tell you about something more? That's what Yajnavalkya is asking here. What is that more? Tasya ayatanam pratishtam. So the ayatana and pratishtha of this Vag Devata, did Shailini teach you? Did Jitva teach you? So ayatanam here means the abode or the sharira, and pratishtha means the support or into which all these things resolve. Correct? One, in fact, it is the support or that which sustains it. That is called pratishtha. So in which the devata is established, we can say. So did he teach you this? Means now Janaka says, Name Abravi, he did not teach me. Then what? Iti, then what? Now Yajnavalkya says, if he did not teach you that, he has only taught you a quarter, only one pada he has taught you. He has not taught you the 3/4. Further, you have to know. Now I'll teach you that. That is the idea here. So he now says, Ekapadva etat samraditi. So whatever you have known already from this Jitva is only 1/4. You have to learn more with reference to this Devata, and I will tell you that. Or before that, Janaka himself asks, then Savai Naha Bruhi. So Yajnavalkya, hey Yajnavalkya, then you teach me, he says. Janaka says, you please teach me whatever I am supposed to know, which has not been taught by Jitva already. Then he says, what does he say? Vageva ayatanam akashaha pratishtha prajna iti yenad upasita. So three things he gives now. Okay. First is the ayatana. What is the ayatana for the Vag Devata? The Vag Indriya itself is the ayatana, because Vag Devata in each and every Vyashti, in individual, manifests in the Vag Indriya. Correct? So the Vag Indriya or the Karana is the ayatana, means, or the Sharira or abode of the Vag Devata, who is Agni here. And Akasha is the Pratishtha. Akasha here is, again we have to know, Akasha was a word used in the previous chapter to refer to the total Upadhi, correct? The Maya Upadhi. So Akasha here is not the regular space. Here Akasha is whatever was said in the Upanishad itself. It's a technical word. So Akasha, Pratishtha. Akasha is the Avyakrita or Maya. So that is the Pratishtha. That is where it is all, it will resolve and it is established in that. And Prajna iti yenad upasita. And you have to do upasana of this Vak Devata with the word Prajna. Now, Prajna, Bhashyakara will tell you, is called Upanishad. The word Upanishad, normally we use Upanishad in the meaning of Brahma Vidya, but here Upanishad means secret name. So each and every Devata has a secret name, and in fact, that secret name conveys a certain glory of that particular Devata, and you have to do Upasana by that glory only, by thinking of that glory. So the word Prajna here is the secret name of the Agni Devata, and one has to do Upasana using that secret name, Prajna. So Prajna iti yenad. Yenad means this particular Agni Devata. You have to do Upasana, Upasita. You have to do Upasana of this Agni Devata using the word secret name Prajna. Then he asks, Ka Prajnata Yajnavalkya. So now Janaka asks, what is this Prajna? What do you mean by this Prajna? Then Yajnavalkya answers, Vageva Samraditi, he says. Prajna is not something different from Vag. It is only a secret name for Vag itself. Why that secret name is given means Prajna means basically intelligence you can take. Okay. So this Vag Devata itself is intelligence, he says, and it is not something separate, because the Ayatana and Pratishtha are separate from the Vag Devata. So now Janaka wants to know whether even this Prajna also is something separate from the Vag Devata, and it is some kind of it comes into contact or whatever. No, it is not like that. So Yajnavalkya says, Vageva Samraditi Hovacha. He says Vag itself is Prajna. And how is that? He says that now. So he says, Vacha Vai Samrad Bandhuf Prajnayata. So through words only we know our friends, because they are introduced to us by somebody, correct? So only through words we know that, and only through words we know Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvangirasa means Atharva Veda. Then Itihasaha here is again some history within the Veda only. It is not Ramayana Mahabharata. Understand that. In fact, this kind of a list we already saw in the Maitreyi Brahmanam also. You can go back and look at there. Bhashyakara actually gave commentary on all these things. In fact, here he doesn't even comment upon all of them. He just skips it, because he has already commented on all these things. So Itihasa here is basically history, but within whatever, within the Veda. Veda itself talks about some stories and history and all that. Puranam also similar. It is not your Ashtadasha Purana, what Vyasa wrote and all that. It is again whatever is there in the Veda. Then Vidya means all the knowledge which the Devas have, like that Bhashyakara says. So Deva Jana Vidya, all the disciplines of knowledge which Devas know. Then Upanishadaha again here means all the secret names of the different Devatas. Then Shlokaha, Sutrani. So these also have interesting meanings. Of course, sutras are not your Brahma Sutra. Sutra here is, like we even saw in Brhadaranyaka itself, there was Avidya Sutra, Vidya Sutra and all that, correct? Vidya Sutra is Atma Ityeva Upasita. Avidya Sutra is Anyaha Asau, Anyaha Aham Iti Nasa Veda, like that. The Upanishad says that. So there are sutras are there, and Upanishad itself gives the meaning or explanations for them sometimes. Even in the, I think we saw that in the second chapter also. In some cases, the Upanishad first gives some mantras and then it will give the explanation itself. That is all called Anuvyakyanani, Vyakhyanani. So Anuvyakyanani are the explanation given for the shlokaha, and Sutrani are the explanations given for, or Vyakhyanani means that those are the explanation given for the sutras. Okay. So like this, different things are there which are mentioned here. So then further what he says, Ishtam means you do yajna, correct? Ij dhatu only becomes yajna, and Ishtam is another form of the same thing. And Bhashyakara will say that Ishtam means actually what are the result of this Ishti, Ishtihi or yajna. So when you do a yajna, their results also you know through only words, correct? So that also you know only through the words. Ishtam yaga nimittam dharma jatam, he says. So yaga nimitta means you do a yajna or a yaga, and because of that, whatever phala, the punya you get, and what will be the result you get, all these things also you know only through the vak. And so ishtam hutam. Again, hutam means you do a homa. Okay, homa nimittam cha. So yaga means it is a very big thing. Hutam means even so like any sacrifice is a, like a bali also is a homa, you can say huta. So whatever you sacrifice, then what is the phala for that? That also you know only through words. Ashitam again. And you are doing anadana. And the phala for the anadana also you know only through the words. Paitam means you again give water to pilgrims, or even generally people who are thirsty, you make arrangements for them to have some drink, correct, or water. That is also a punya karma, correct. These are all purta karma again. See, we have ishta purtihi, like that it is said in our dharma shastra also. A person is supposed to do both. Anybody has to do not only just your puja and homa and yajna, but you also have to do some social work. In fact, there are 64 types of purta karma are mentioned in the dharma shastra. Amongst them, annadana, and also providing what we call tannir pandal and all that. In Tamil Nadu, we call, in fact, during summer, in general, people put up a stall kind of a thing. They'll put a thatched roof, and then somebody will be giving buttermilk or water, all these things just for passers by. It is given. It is a punya karma actually. It is a purta karma. So their phala also you know through the words. Then ayancha lokaha, this world also you know only through words, it says. And parascha lokaha, about the paraloka also only you know through the words. And sarvanicha bhutani vacha eva, all, and also you know about all the beings, all the devatas only through vak. Therefore what? Samrad prajnayante vagvai. So vag alone gives you intelligence. Okay, hey Samrat, vag alone gives you intelligence. Vagvai prajnayante. And Samrat paramam brahma, and it is also param brahma. Vag itself is param brahma. And the one who does upasana like that, one who knows the vag devata as brahma, what is the phala for that upasana? That also here Yajnavalkya says, nainam vag jahati. So this vag indriya will not leave that person, means what? It will be healthy in his body. So in this world, if you do the upasana, that vag is brahma, and also you do the upasana through the word prajna, knowing the ayatana and the pratishtha, etc. If you do proper upasana like this, then the result for that is the vag devata will not leave you. The vag indriya will function properly. It will not desert you. In fact, all indriyas, once you get old, they are deserting you only in some manner, correct? Your indriya, the ability of your organs are coming down. You can't do the same thing which you were doing before. That is there. But this person who has done this upasana, his vag indriya is always fine, healthy. And also sarvani yenam bhutani abhiksharanti. All the beings come to this person. Okay, because he is like a devata himself. Okay. So, and in fact, this again is a highly quoted portion here. Devo bhutva devan apyeti. So this person himself is like the devata. He becomes like the devata while being in this loka only. And after the marana, he attains that devata, or he merges into that devata. Devan apyeti. Ye evam vidvan etad upaste. The vidvan, one who does upasana like this, in this manner, he being a devata here, or like that devata. In fact, each devata has a certain glory, correct? That glory he gets while living here only, and later on he also merges into that devata, means in a future srishti he will become that devata. That is the idea. So devan apyeti. So having heard this, now Janaka is very happy. So he says, Hasti Rishabham Sahasram Dadami iti. So I'll give you a bull which is like an elephant, and also I'll give you 1,000 cows for whatever you have taught me now. So Janakaha Vaideha, he says that. Then Yajnavalkya says something very interesting. He says, Saho Vacha Yajnavalkya. So Yajnavalkya tells Janaka, he says, Pita me amanyata na ananushishya hareta iti. So his Yajnavalkya says, my father has told me, instructed me what? Do not take any dakshina from anybody unless you have taught them completely. Unless you have taught them everything, do not take the dakshina. So right now I am not taking it because I want to teach you more. He says that. Maybe he wants to get more also by teaching more. But he says that. He says, my Pita has already taught me, instructed me that I should not take the dakshina you are giving unless I have taught you completely. So with this particular thing is, we have seen this. We'll see the Bhashya next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Oh.